The constant pursuit of wisdom is the less traveled road, but the most rewarding one in our lives. Some things are like seeds. We plant them in silence, away from curious eyes, so they can grow and flourish without interference. This is where the wisdom of the Stoics comes in. They teach us to guard and cultivate within ourselves, without the hurry to show it to the world. The Stoics, great thinkers in history, knew that not everything should be shared. They valued their secrets, their achievements, and their lessons, because they understood that by revealing too much of the true essence of things, it might be lost to them. Every joy and sadness, every lesson and challenge, they are pieces of the story we compose. And if we share everything without thinking, perhaps we stop living deeply. Just like a flower doesn't grow if it's constantly touched, our growth also needs privacy. A space of our own where we look at our mistakes and victories and decide how we want to move forward in the best way. So when we don't share something, it's not to hide, but to protect. True growth comes from the balance between what we show and what we keep just for ourselves. In a world that loves to display everything, it can sometimes be challenging to recognize and appreciate what's behind our accomplishments. In this discussion, we will explore 11 subjects that the Stoics recommend keeping to yourself. All of them are important, so stay tuned until the end to find out why. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you liked the video, which helps me continue spreading the Stoic philosophy. If you are not subscribed, I recommend you subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss any videos. 1. Don't talk about challenges. Not overcome. In the Stoic path to wisdom and virtue, every step was filled with meaning. The deviations and stumbling blocks weren't mere obstacles. They carved the soul, shaped character, and taught about the true nature of grandeur. It wasn't the visible triumph that counted, but the internal battles, often invisible, that determined a person's inner strength. But if these struggles held so much value, why did the Stoics advise not to speak about challenges not overcome? The answer lies in their astute perception of human nature. They believed that ego and pride could cloud our vision, making us blind to true virtue. The relentless pursuit of external recognition and praise could indeed be a veil that hides our true potential. The Stoics didn't value achievements that could be easily displayed as trophies. They sought true glory in acts that elevated humanity, acts rooted in values like justice, generosity, and wisdom. Real wealth for them wasn't in the shine of gold, but in the radiance of a morally upright character and a tranquil soul. The philosophy of loving fate was fundamental to this understanding. The Stoics didn't despair in the face of adversity. Instead, they balanced the taste of victory and defeat with equanimity, aware that the tapestry of life is woven with threads of circumstances often beyond our control. 2. Don't talk about your achievements. Imagine diving into the dark and deep waters of your own soul. For the Stoics, the pursuit of wisdom and virtue resembled this profound journey. They believed that true fulfillment wasn't in displaying external triumphs, but in introspection and continuous evolution. Every challenge, every struggle, was fought not in public arenas, but in the silent landscapes of the spirit. By discussing their victories, they offered us a deep reflection. Ego and vanity, when nurtured, can become barriers that stand between us and true virtue. Their obsession with external recognition, they said, ties us to chains of pride, trapping us in the empty pursuit of fleeting applause. This path is filled with disappointment. However, here's a precious teaching from the Stoics. True achievement isn't the one sought to be admired, but the one that silently transforms the community. nurturing noble values like justice, compassion, and wisdom. Wealth for these ancient sages wasn't accumulated in vaults, but in the depths of a balanced and serene soul. Instead of celebrating triumphs or withering in defeat, they embraced a quiet acceptance of all the whims of life. They invited us to recognize that the dance of existence is orchestrated by melodies often beyond our control. In this remarkable silence, we find a deliberate choice, a commitment to genuine greatness. They believed that true majesty lay in living with integrity, dedicating oneself to the collective. They left us with the legacy that humility, sincerity, and the ceaseless pursuit of wisdom were the true pillars of a life worth living. 3. Don't talk about your resentment. Have you ever felt trapped in a web of emotions where each thread is a bitter memory, a grudge that refuses to fade? The timeless wisdom of Stoicism invites us to reflect deeply on the invisible weight of resentment. To these ancient philosophers, harboring resentment was like an anchor that prevented the spirit from sailing freely through the seasons of life. But what if we could choose a less trodden path, where forgiveness and understanding were our faithful companions? Behind this historical perspective, we find an unwavering focus on virtue and self-control. Ask yourself, have you ever carried a burden on your back for a long time? Have you felt the weariness, exhaustion, and resentment? This burden is an invisible chain that binds us, limiting our freedom and inner peace. It's fascinating to realize that often resentment springs from misunderstanding and can imprison us in a cycle of bitterness. The Stoics encouraged us to seek the origins of others' actions, to understand before we judge. Forgiveness, then, is not just an altruistic gesture, but an act of profound wisdom that unravels the mysteries of the human soul and frees us from the chains of negativity. Anger and resentment are silent poisons, flames that, when fed, consume our tranquility and well-being. On the other hand, by choosing the path of forgiveness and understanding, we find an oasis of serenity and peace. Guided by Stoic wisdom, we are reminded of a universal truth. Forgiveness is the key to our own freedom. It is a beacon that guides us through emotional storms and offers us refuge in the harbor of serenity. By embracing this lesson, we discover that at times the greatest strength lies in letting go, in freeing ourselves from the chains of the past and sailing toward a horizon of understanding and peace. 4. Don't talk about your good deeds. Imagine a candle that silently lights up a dark room. Its light is gentle, unobtrusive, but it warms and illuminates everything around it. Kindness, for the Stoics, was much like this flame. They believed that true generosity didn't need to be proclaimed in public squares or shouted from the mountaintops. It should, in its essence, be a genuine and subtle gesture, done out of the simple desire to do good without expecting praise in return. Why might this perspective seem strange in today's self-promotion culture? For a profound reason. As the Stoics recognized the danger of turning kindness into a spectacle. After all, if we brag about every altruistic act, we might inadvertently seek the fleeting warmth of applause. Keeping our good deeds in the cloak of anonymity provides us with a sacred moment of reflection and pause, a moment of intimate connection with ourselves where we can question whether our actions were genuine or motivated by other interests. This secret self-analysis becomes a catalyst for personal improvement. At the heart of Stoic philosophy lay the belief that true kindness doesn't seek the spotlight. It manifests in acts of compassion, quiet and authentic. This timeless wisdom envelops us with its essence and reminds us of a fundamental truth. Often the greatest act of kindness is the one offered without expecting anything in return. 5. Don't talk about your next steps. Imagine a chess master moving their pieces silently as their opponents attempt to decipher their next moves. This is the path of the Stoics. They understood that by revealing every move in their lives, they could be subject to the whimsical winds of external judgment, often laden with criticism, envy, and even malicious intentions. At the heart of Stoic philosophy lies the virtue of self-sufficiency. Why depend on the fleeting applause of an audience when true strength resides in the inner theater of the mind? By keeping their life strategies to themselves, the Stoics were not simply concealing their plans, but strengthening their inner core of confidence, independent of the tides of opinion that flow around them. This leads us to humility, a subtle yet profound quality that the Stoics fervently upheld. Revealing grand strategies could easily be interpreted as a cry of arrogance, a triumphant fanfare of an inflated ego. The Stoics wisely chose discretion over display, recognizing that sometimes in the world of dreams and plans, true greatness flourishes best in silence. This silent dance of strategy and modesty reveals a timeless truth. The most majestic dreams and plans grow in the sacred space of silence and reflection. They invite us to a journey of internal discoveries, where actions speak louder than words and achievements resound in the quietude of our most intimate essence. 6. Don't talk about your deepest dreams. Imagine for a moment a rare and delicate seed in the palm of your hand. It represents your most intimate dreams, your most fervent aspirations. How would you protect it from harsh winds and storms that could prevent it from sprouting? The Stoics, with their profound wisdom, provide an answer. They saw our goals and dreams as these precious seeds, destined to be planted in the fertile depths of our souls, far from the storms of others' opinions and criticisms. After all, who hasn't felt the flame of a dream extinguish prematurely when exposed to the cold of skepticism or the heat of ridicule? Within Stoic philosophy, self-sufficiency is celebrated as an invaluable gem. True wisdom, true accomplishment is not a chalice to be displayed, but an internal well from which one can always draw. It makes no sense to seek fleeting external approval when we can find richness and purpose in the recesses of our own minds. Perhaps the quietest and yet most eloquent of virtues, the Stoics recognize the subtlety of the line that separates healthy ambition from arrogance. Choosing silence about our grand goals was not an act of shyness, but a deliberate choice to walk with humility, avoiding the pride that sometimes blinds. In the end, the Stoic legacy speaks to the heart. There's no need to shout our dreams from mountaintops. Instead, protect them, cultivate them, and watch them flourish in their silent and majestic glory. This safeguard is an invitation to rediscover the strength that resides within us and to recognize that at times the most precious treasures are those we keep just for ourselves. 7. Don't talk about family matters. Think of your family as a precious gem, unique in its flaws and beauty. The Stoics believed in protecting this gem from the harsh world by not discussing family matters publicly. They understood that airing family issues could lead to unnecessary scrutiny, judgment, and even conflict. By keeping family matters private, they maintained the sanctity and harmony of their personal lives. This approach fosters a sense of respect and loyalty within the family, creating a safe space for resolving issues and growing together. The Stoics valued inner peace and believed that family conflicts should be handled with wisdom and discretion, away from the prying eyes of the world. This practice not only preserves the dignity of each family member, but also strengthens the bonds of trust and love. Therefore, The Stoic wisdom encourages us to guard our family's privacy, ensuring that our personal lives remain a sanctuary of support and understanding. 8. Don't talk about your financial situation. Imagine carrying a fragile porcelain vase through a crowded room. The Stoics felt this way about wealth. They knew that discussing financial matters could attract envy, misunderstanding, or unwarranted advice, disrupting the harmony of one's life. The Stoic philosophy holds that true wealth lies not in material possessions, but in the richness of character and wisdom. By keeping financial matters private, they preserve their inner tranquility, free from the burdens of external judgment and expectation. This perspective teaches us that financial discussions can lead to comparisons and competition, which are antithetical to the Stoic pursuit of virtue and inner peace. Silence about one's financial situation allows for a focus on personal growth and contentment, untainted by the materialism that often plagues society. Thus, in the Stoic tradition, the real treasure is found in a life lived with integrity, wisdom, and serenity, undisturbed by the fleeting nature of wealth. 9. Don't talk about your relationships. Imagine your relationships as delicate, blossoming flowers. The Stoics believed in nurturing these connections in the private gardens of our hearts, away from the public gaze. They understood that discussing personal relationships could invite unnecessary opinions, misunderstandings, and even jealousy. By keeping their relationships private, they preserved the intimacy and authenticity of these connections. This practice promotes a deeper understanding and respect between partners, free from external pressures and judgments. The Stoics valued the purity of genuine relationships and believed that true love and friendship should be experienced deeply and privately. This approach fosters a sense of trust and loyalty, allowing relationships to flourish in a safe and supportive environment. Therefore, the Stoic wisdom encourages us to protect our personal relationships, nurturing them with care and discretion. 10. Don't talk about your fears. Imagine a knight who faces dragons but never boasts of his fears. The Stoics believed that discussing one's fears could weaken their resolve and invite unnecessary pity or exploitation. They valued the strength that comes from facing fears silently, finding courage within themselves. This inner resilience is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, emphasizing the importance of self-mastery and mental fortitude. By keeping fears private, they maintained a sense of control and composure, essential for navigating life's challenges. This practice teaches us that true bravery is not the absence of fear, but the ability to confront it without seeking validation from others. It fosters a sense of inner strength and independence, allowing us to grow and evolve with dignity. Therefore, in the Stoic tradition, silence about our fears is a powerful tool for cultivating courage and resilience. 11. Don't talk about your health. Imagine your health as a precious vessel, vulnerable to the elements. The Stoics believed in protecting this vessel by not discussing health issues publicly. They understood that talking about health could attract unwanted sympathy, advice, or even gossip, disrupting one's peace of mind. By keeping health matters private, they maintained a sense of dignity and control over their lives. This practice teaches us to focus on our well-being without seeking external validation or pity. It encourages us to find strength within ourselves, managing health issues with resilience and composure. The Stoics valued the inner strength that comes from self-reliance, promoting a sense of calm and stability. Therefore, in the Stoic tradition, silence about our health is a powerful way to cultivate inner peace and strength. In conclusion, the Stoics teach us the value of discretion and the power of silence. By keeping these 11 subjects private, we protect our inner peace, cultivate personal growth, and foster authentic relationships. Their timeless wisdom reminds us that true strength and wisdom come from within, guiding us toward a life of integrity, humility, and serenity. Thank you for watching. Your support helps us continue sharing knowledge and inspiration. If you have suggestions for future content, please leave them in the comments. Your input guides us in our mission to bring you impactful content. Here's a video on anti-Stoic habits to remove from your life. Watch it and let us know what you think.